Okay, there you are. Hopefully everybody sees me well, and I'm still getting over my cold. That's probably one of the reasons I've missed a couple days in uploading, is because I've had a cold which has hung on for a lot longer than I thought it would. And generally I don't get colds very easily, so this is a little bit of an unusual time for me because I usually feel pretty good, but the last few days, last week, since I got back from Las Vegas, I haven't felt so well. So I guess the market's kind of reflecting the way I feel, because the market isn't done so well either. But tonight I want to talk a little bit about a video that I watched last night from a guy by the name of Bitcoin Ben. I'd never heard his videos before, didn't know who he was. I only picked up on the video because I saw the title. The title kind of intrigued me, and so I read it and watched the video. And I thought the video was very interesting. Actually interesting enough for me to make a video about Bitcoin Ben's video tonight. And of course, Bitcoin Ben also follows Bix Weir. I don't really know Bix Weir or who he is very well. The only thing I know is a lot of people have told me that Bix Weir is kind of he's a little bit of the guy that is always thinking the market's going to go down. A lot of times people would email me and say, oh, well, Bix Weir's got a different opinion than you have. So it always seems like I'm on the other side of the fence from Bix Weir. So, got the police going here like crazy. So anyway, he's a follower of Bix Weir. I know Bix Weir gets a lot of people following. Here we go. There we go. Carlsbad's finest. You're probably after a skateboarder. Right. So anyway, no, they actually take on more important crimes than skateboarders. But a lot of times when you see them pulling somebody over, it's usually a skateboarder. So back to the video. So when Bitcoin Ben is talking about conspiracies, and I myself am not a big conspiracy person, but I know a lot of people like conspiracies, and they are fun to talk about. I mean, and there's a lot of famous conspiracies that are on the internet. They're on YouTube. I think about everybody's watched the 9/11 conspiracy about the buildings coming down, which is interesting to me because I always thought myself, how does a building come down by getting hit by an airplane? Especially when airplanes are made of very flimsy, light material, and buildings are made of concrete and steel girders. Anybody that knows something about airplane fuel knows that it burns very slowly. So if the airplane doesn't knock the building down on the initial contact, how's it going to come down? Well, we got some more going after him. How's it going to come down? So I always thought the whole 9/11 thing was very interesting. Not that I don't believe the government, because I like to trust my government, but I also thought there was some interesting stuff. I think Building 7, was it? Building 3, whatever it was. Kind of pancakes without anything running into it. So I don't know. I don't know. But those are conspiracies people like to mull over and like to talk about and think about. I always thought they were interesting. I've watched some of the videos out there. I'm not a big conspiracy fan. I don't follow them. I don't follow anybody that does conspiracies. But they are interesting. They are fun to kind of watch. Who knows what happened? You'll never find out for sure. And that's the one thing about a video. How you doing, man? That's one thing about a conspiracy, is you're never going to know for sure what happened. Nobody's going to ever know for sure what happened on 9/11. I mean, and I kind of one of these people that think it's probably somewhere between what the government says and what the conspirators say as far as what really happened. But anyway, I just throw that out as kind of interesting thought. But anyway, there's a lot of activity going on here today. What Bitcoin Bob, yeah, I think it was Bitcoin Bob, who's actually a truck driver, I believe out of where was he at? He's out of St. Louis, Missouri. Talks a little bit in cryptic language, has a little bit of a speech impediment, talks a little bit cryptically, but I found him very interesting. And what I found interesting about what he said was that he feels, like I feel, that basically there's no way of stopping the cryptocurrency. There's no way to stop Bitcoin. There's just no way to stop it. You could think it's the worst thing in the world. You could think it's the devil's currency. You could think it's the Antichrist currency. You could think that all the bad things that in the end times people neither buy nor sell without a mark, and that the cryptocurrency will be the mark. I mean, I've heard those videos, and I do believe that there is no way to stop this. And I do believe that that this is going to be a way to be able to track a lot of a lot of people on the blockchain. Regardless of what you think about that, I mean, and there are a lot of people out there that say that it is going to happen. The cryptocurrencies are going to happen. Bitcoin and others are going to happen. There's no way to stop them. They're going to eventually take over, I think, most of the transactions in the world, and there's just no way to stop it. Bitcoin, and as he says, EOS and Ethereum. And the reason he says those three are going to be the big ones, the biggies, which, as I do believe too, is that these three are the ones that the Security Exchange Commission have said are not securities. So the Security Exchange Commission has given those three cryptocurrencies a pass, and they seem to be the ones that are going to lead the future. Bitcoin being a store of value, and of course EOS and Ethereum being smart contracts. And he thinks smart contracts are going to be the way futures businesses run online. And I tend to concur with that. But the video the part of the video got me very interested is the fact that he talked about Agenda 21. And I don't know if anybody knows what Agenda 21 is. If you don't, look it up on the internet. Agenda 21 is the United Nations coming together with 21st century, Agenda 21st century. And what that is it's trying to eliminate the carbon footprint. So they want to cut back on the amount of carbon usage, which I think they're creating a carbon tax, and they're trying to encourage or get people to understand that we have global warming, we have a lot of things going on, and that we're going to have to start worrying about that. And that this Agenda 21, is going to put in place some ways of starting to deal with this carbon footprint, the use of energy that's causing a lot of global warming and causing the world a lot of issues. So that is something that Agenda 21 is taking care of, trying to take care of. And then he links that back to the US dollar, the US dollar being tied to petrochemicals, the oil. So in 1971, the US dollar went off the gold standard, but they actually, rather than go off the gold standard and make it absolutely worthless, they were able to cut a deal with the Saudi Arabians, and it becomes the petrodollar. Petrodollar meaning if you want to trade oil in the world, you have to use the US dollar. US world currency. So automatically made the value currency, US currency, valuable, simply because people had to hold it to transact in energy, which is oil. And if they wanted to be manufacturer, if they wanted to do anything, they want to build, they want to have activity, they were going to have to buy oil. And if you're going to buy oil, you're going to have to hold US dollars. So it was a brilliant move by Henry Kissinger. He was actually, I think, the person that negotiated it, if you could believe the press and the news at the time. And he made the dollar instantly valuable, which propped up the US economy and made it so the US economy didn't have to really do much. We didn't have to make manufacturing anymore. We didn't have to do a lot of things that other countries had to do to have a standard of living. Standard of living was automatically guaranteed by the fact that the good dollar had value, that the dollar was always going to be valuable because other governments had to hold dollars bills in order to transact in oil. So this was a very positive thing for the United States of America. And as a world currency, it was tied to oil. Now what he's saying is now these cryptocurrencies are being tied to creation of energy. So in other words, when Bitcoin is made, it's created by energy. So you got a currency that's created out of energy, from the mining of energy. And if you can mine energy more efficiently, the more money you can make by being able to make the cryptocurrency inexpensive. So the less money you spend on mining, the more Bitcoin you mine, the incentive is to be able to get Bitcoin as cheaply as possible by being efficient with energy. That is the new way of tying a currency to an activity or to some sort of mining, some sort of natural resource. Rather than have it to be tied to the petrodollar, now have it tied to the efficiency of the production of energy. This was an interesting thing when he said that, because it started to make it understandable to me that what's going on in today's world is that the creation of clean energy, inexpensive energy, is also going to be the catalyst for creating a currency, a money. And this works perfectly with the world we're in today, Agenda 21 and the United Nations. The United Nations right now, they've got a little bit of a problem because the main person that, the main country that funds the United Nations, the United States of America, of which Trump is a nationalist. He's not a globalist. He tends to be a globalist in some areas, but overall he tends to be more of a nationalist. So he's not funding the United Nations, and he's not giving them the money that they usually get from this country. So now they're looking for other means of being able to get money. And of course, the carbon tax is one of them, and creating a currency, or having a currency, be able to hold a currency or buy a currency by the inexpensive production of Bitcoin through very efficient means of energy is another way. So this is a very, I'd say, you call it conspiratorial or whatever you want to call it, but this is a shift, a huge shift in the way money is created. Rather than money created from the selling and using of oil, money is going to be created by the efficiently creating energy, and that energy is going to be used to mine Bitcoin and Ethereum. And of course, EOS doesn't do mining, but EOS is a smart contract platform, of which the way EOS is set up with the 21 block producers, he thinks the 21 block producers, the people that do the block producing, can actually be people that are in favor of these Agenda 21s and the carbon tax and all this good stuff. So this is a very interesting thing. And of course, he also thinks there's only going to be a number of blockchains, as I do, that a lot of the blockchains won't make it, or if they do make it, they're not going to get the government favoritism that EOS, Ethereum, and Bitcoin have. So the creation of money through the efficient use of energy is a concept, I think, that has future written all over it. I think that's the way the future is going to be. And that's why I think the world reserve currency of the United States dollar will eventually not be in play any longer. And I think Trump is trying to fight that. That's why he doesn't like Bitcoin, and that's why he doesn't like the United Nations, and that's why he doesn't like the Agenda 21s or NAFTA or any of these other deals. He's kind of against all that stuff. But then again, in some respects, he allows some of this stuff to happen. So I wouldn't say he's totally non-globalist, but he tends not to be a globalist. He tends to be a nationalist. So we'll just see how that all plays out. But I'll put the link to the video below. I might talk a little bit more about this subject because I'm very interested in this subject. The future of currency, the future of money, the future of how things operate. Also the fact that I, much like Bitcoin Ben, spent lots of hours listening to talk radio. I mean, if you're a truck driver, you're probably going to spend a lot of hours as you're driving across the country listening to the talk radio. I spent a lot of hours as a farmer in a tractor cab listening to talk radio. So all that stuff is up in my brain. You know, I got all the globalist stuff, the anti-globalist stuff, the anti-Agenda 21, all the things about the United Nations and how it's leading us to one world government and how all this is all negative for us and all the other stuff. I got that all in my brain, and that's always been kind of interesting to me, and I've always kind of tried to figure out a way to see how that's going to play out in the future, how it's going to feature. You know, now that I'm been around a little bit longer, I discount a lot of those people like Alex Jones and those people. I think he's kind of been exposed for who he really is. If you know who Alex Jones is, he's a little bit of a nut. And I used to listen to Alex Jones. It was very, very interesting what he had to say. And he does say some good stuff. I shouldn't call him a nut because he probably isn't as much nut as a lot of people think. But he's kind of been painted as a nut by the media, mainstream media. In fact, I think he's been demonetized in YouTube and about all the other different social medias have demonetized him. And probably for good reason, because he's done some pretty weird stuff. And he's very anti-government. I mean, very, very anti. And I just don't think you could be, how you doing, man? I just don't think you could be that anti-government. I'm sorry?
Where are you from?
I'm from Carlsbad. How you doing?
Why are you doing this then?
Oh, it's just, I'm doing a video for my YouTube channel. Where are you from?
Not sure now. I was kind of sure where I was from, but for your YouTube channel?
Yeah, we do a cryptocurrency YouTube
Who's
channel.
we? You swim from
Well,
you
just
to
me, and what it is my son and I and a few other people have a cryptocurrency called Challenge application, And I come out every night along the street generally to do a video.
Are you being honest?
Yeah, I'm totally honest. Yeah, you can check out the channel. It's called EOS San Diego.
I don't care about channel.
EOS
but
channel.
What's your name?
Kent.
Thank you.
Yeah, what's your name?
I'm Todd.
Thanks for being in the video, Todd.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
What about
have a
it?
good evening.
I'm not done yet. If you, that's good.
Do you know anything about Bitcoin or anything about the cryptocurrencies?
Do you?
Well, a little bit. Yeah.
Well, what's it mean to you?
Well, I mean, it's just a third party. What it is, what Bitcoin is the way. It's a new way of currency. It's a new currency, and it's a way for.
How long has it been around?
I think 2009 is when.
No, I didn't ask you when it was made. How long has it been around?
Cryptocurrency
Yeah.
since 2009.
So how many years is that?
What is it? 11 years? 10, 11 years? Yes.
11 years. It's only been around then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So how'd you get it?
Well, you got to mine it.
No. Again, I'm going to ask you one question. Either you answer me or you don't. That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay. Good.
So,
Let's keep it going.
how did you get it?
Oh, how do I get it?
Yeah.
Well, you either buy it. You got to buy it from the exchange. Like Coinbase would be one place.
Which exchange are you buying it from?
Well, like Coinbase would be a good exchange to buy from. Coinbase.
.com?
Yeah, Coinbase.com. Yeah.
Oh, and amazing how that happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so you buy it from Coinbase or you can mine it.
What's it up to now?
I think 8,000, maybe a little bit below
See,
8,000.
you know that word. You know that's good.
Yeah. Well, it started off at nothing, literally a couple pennies.
You think?
Well, yeah, that's where it started.
Why would I buy into that?
Well, you don't have to. I mean,
No,
it's
no,
up
I'm
to you.
just, no. You're
Why
selling
would
me.
you buy? Why? No, I'm not selling you. Don't buy into
No,
Bitcoin.
you're smiling too fucking good. You go.
No, I'm someone.
You said go see my thing. I'm asking you, why should I?
Why should you? Because I think it's going to be a currency for the future.
You're full of shit.
Well, I could be. Who
No,
knows?
no, you could be not.
Yeah, I could be. I mean.
No, you could be not.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to sell anybody anything. I'm just doing a video, so
Oh, that's
what I'm
fine.
trying to do.
Is that it?
That's
no,
it.
I don't want that. So
Okay.
guess what? You can't do that illegally, right?
Well, I can if I tell you about it. So.
No, I'm done with that. I don't want it.
Okay. Well, yeah. You don't have to do it.
So have fun.
Yeah. Okay. Nice to meet you.
Turn it off. Let's talk.
Okay. Let's talk. Okay, I'll turn it off.